Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are tackling something that I think everyone secretly, or maybe, not so secretly, craves. We're talking about peace. But not just peace, we're talking about purpose. And we're doing it by looking at a world that seems, well, completely opposite to the frantic, notification-filled lives we actually live.
It is a bit of a paradox, isn't it? We are diving into Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty.
Right.
And the core premise here is just fascinating. To find calm and clarity in the modern world, you don't necessarily need to, move to the Himalayas.
You don't have to give everything up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you might need to borrow the operating system of someone who did.
I love that.
Yeah.
And before we get into the how, and there is a lot of practical how in this, we have to talk about the why. Because the author, Jay Shetty, he didn't start out as a monk.
No, not at all.
He was actually a business student in London.
That's right. He was 18, attending Cass Business School, and he was, by his own admission, chasing the standard definition of success.
So CEOs, celebrities.
Exactly. People who had actually accomplished things. He was looking for that blueprint to, wealth and influence.
I love that detail, the skepticism.
Yeah.
Like, what can a guy in robes who owns nothing teach me about success?
Totally.
It's just so relatable because that's how most of us are programmed to think.
Precisely. But a friend dragged him to hear a monk speak, this monk, Gauranga Das. And Shetty went in skeptical, basically kicking and screaming.
Ah, I can picture it.
But he left completely changed. He noticed something profound. He'd met plenty of rich people, famous people, strong people, but none of them seemed truly happy.
They were all stressed.
Stressed, anxious, always looking for the next thing. But this monk, he was radiant.
It was the contrast that got to him.
That was it. The monk spoke about selfless sacrifice. And he used this one phrase that stuck with Shetty forever.
Oh, the one about the trees.
Yeah, planting
Fine.
trees under whose shade you do not plan to sit.
That line always gets me. It's such a powerful shift from the whole what's in it for me mentality.
Yeah, it is. And that led Shetty to make this radical U-turn. He turned down lucrative corporate job offers, moved to an ashram in India.
And he spent, what, 3 years there?
3 years, sleeping on the floor, living out of a gym locker, meditating for hours a day.
Talk about a pivot. But, and this is important, the mission of this deep dive isn't to convince everyone listening to shave their heads and move to an ashram.
No, and Shetty is very clear on that. The goal is to apply monk wisdom to modern life. It's about overcoming anxiety, overthinking, that gnawing sense of dissatisfaction.
Right here, in the middle of traffic.
Exactly. Or a stressful Zoom meeting.
So let's unpack this. He breaks the journey down into 3 stages: letting go, growing, and giving. Let's start with stage 1, letting go.
Yeah.
This brings us to a concept about identity that I found really trippy: the looking glass self.
This is a heavy concept to start with, but it's crucial foundation work.
It feels like the bedrock of the whole argument.
It is. It comes from the sociologist Charles Horton Cooley, and he said, "I am not what I think I am, and I am not what you think I am.
Okay?
I am what I think you think I am."
Okay, my brain just did a somersault. I am what I think you think I am. So, I'm living my life based on a hallucination of your opinion.
In a way, yeah. We build our identities on a perception of a perception. If I think you value wealth, I chase wealth to impress you.
If I think you value humor, I try to be the funny one.
Exactly. We aren't living our own values. We're performing for an imaginary audience. We build this avatar to survive, but we lose the actual person inside.
It reminds me of that story from the ashram, The Dusty Mirror. That felt like the perfect visual for this.
A perfect metaphor. A senior monk takes Shetty to this dusty storeroom and asks him to look in a mirror. But it's so covered in dust and grime he can't see his reflection at all.
And the monk wipes it.
He wipes it, and the dust flies everywhere, stinging Shetty's eyes, making him cough.
And the dust is the external stuff. The media, society.
Exactly. The dust is all those external influences. The lesson is that our true self is buried under layers of this stuff. You can't see who you really are until you wipe it away.
And I think it's important that wiping it away isn't pleasant. The dust stings his eyes.
It hurts. Because you have to admit that maybe the things you've been chasing aren't actually what you want. You have to admit you've been living a life designed by someone else.
So how do we start cleaning the mirror? Because finding your values sounds great, but it's a bit abstract.
Shetty suggests a really practical audit. You look at 3 things: how you spend your time, media, and money.
Oh, the receipts don't lie.
They really don't. You might say, family is my #1 value. But if your time audit shows you spend all your free weekends golfing,
Or you spend 3 hours scrolling Instagram, but only 10 minutes calling your parents.
right, your values are revealed by your actions, not your words.
That is a brutal reality check. Like that values are your ethical GPS. If you don't punch in a destination, you just get swept away.
Exactly. And one of the biggest obstacles is what the monks call the monkey mind.
The monkey mind versus the monk mind. I feel like I live in monkey mind territory most days.
You're not alone. The monkey mind jumps from branch to branch. It seeks short-term gratification.
It's overwhelmed, complaining, distracted.
Right. While the monk mind is focused on long-term gain and intention, and a huge part of that is dealing with negativity, Shetty calls them the cancers of the mind.
The 3 C's.
Yeah.
Complaining, comparing, and criticizing.
Yes. And what's fascinating is how contagious this is. There is an anecdote where Shetty finds himself complaining about another monk.
Because that monk was complaining too much.
The irony is delicious, right?
I can't believe how negative he is, said negatively.
It just proves the point. Negativity spreads like a virus. He even mentions a study. If a friend living within a mile of you becomes happy, your chance of happiness goes up by 25%.
But it works the other way, too.
For sure. We are porous. We absorb the energy around us.
So if we catch ourselves complaining or comparing, what's the fix? He has that tool. Spot, stop, swap.
This is very actionable. First, you spot the feeling. You just acknowledge it. Oh, I'm feeling jealous right now. No judgment.
Just label it.
Right. Second, stop. Just breathe. Pause. Don't let the thought run the show. And third, swap. You replace it with a different way of processing.
Okay, can you give an example of a swap? Especially for something like jealousy. That's a hard one to just turn off.
Well, that leads to the concept of mudita. It's a Sanskrit word.
Sympathetic joy.
Exactly. Taking unselfish joy in the good fortune of others. Which sounds lovely, but like you said, how do we actually get there?
Yeah, functionally, how?
We have to change how we view resources. We see happiness as a zero-sum game, like there's a limited amount of pie.
If you get a big slice, there's less for me.
Right. Shetty uses the theater of happiness metaphor. We think there are only a few front row seats, but in reality, the theater has unlimited seats. Someone else getting a seat doesn't mean you're left standing in the back.
I like that. So swapping jealousy for mudita is realizing their success doesn't take anything away from yours. It's not a competition.
Exactly. And the ultimate way to clear this negative energy is forgiveness.
Ah, the ladder of forgiveness. This was powerful. It starts at 0 forgiveness.
Yeah.
Right? Which is basically revenge.
The eye for an eye mentality. Then you step up to conditional forgiveness. I'll forgive you if you apologize.
But the goal is transformational forgiveness.
Which is forgiving to find strength and calmness for yourself, regardless of what they do.
He uses the image of the burning coal here. Holding on to anger is like holding a burning coal to throw at someone else.
But you're the one who gets burned.
It's so powerful. Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about healing your own hand. You drop the coals so you can stop burning.
Right?
Okay, so moving from the cancers of the mind to the next stage. Growing. And this deals with something that paralyzes so many of us. Fear.
Yes. The segment is titled The Wind and the Rental Car, which I know sounds like an indie movie title.
It does.
But it contains this really profound lesson on stress.
Let's talk about the wind part first. This comes from the Biosphere 2 experiment.
Yeah, this is a great story. In the 90s, scientists built this perfect enclosed environment, Biosphere 2. Perfect light, perfect water, perfect soil for trees.
Everything was controlled.
Totally. And the trees grew super fast, way faster than in the wild. But then, before they reached maturity, they would just fall over. Collapse under their own weight. Because there was no wind.
Wow.
In nature, wind is stress. It pushes the tree around, and that stress signals the tree to grow deep, strong roots and sturdier bark. Without that challenge, the trees in the biosphere had no structural integrity.
That is such a validation for anyone going through a hard time. The stress isn't a sign that things are going wrong.
It's the mechanism for building resilience. Fear is just a signal. We tend to fear the wrong things, like looking bad instead of fearing the right things, like missing out on our potential.
We need the wind.
We need the wind to grow our roots.
And this brings us to the rental car metaphor, which I think is my favorite part of this whole discussion. It's about detachment.
Right. And detachment is so often misunderstood as indifference, like you just don't care.
But that's not it at all.
Not at all, he says. Imagine you're driving a luxury rental car or staying in a stunning Airbnb on the coast. You don't own it. You know you have to give it back.
But you still enjoy it. Maybe you enjoy it more because you're not worried about the maintenance or the insurance.
Exactly. You enjoy the sunset from the balcony fully, knowing it's temporary, monk wisdom says. Treat everything in life like that rental car. Your house, your status, even your relationship.
All blessings.
They're borrowed blessings. If you clutch the steering wheel terrified of scratching it, you can't enjoy the ride. But if you realize it's just borrowed, you can actually be present.
And that presence removes the fear of loss. You can't lose what you never really owned.
You're just a custodian for a short time.
Yeah. Okay, so we've cleared the dust. We're managing negativity. We're reframing fear. Now we need to know where we're going. Let's talk about intention.
This is where we get into the why. Shetty talks about 4 primary motivations: fear, desire, duty, and love.
And he's pretty clear that the first 2, fear and desire, they're rocky foundations.
They are. Fear isn't sustainable, you just burn out. And desire, he calls success based on desire and illusion, Maya.
The gold dust.
Yes, the story of the temple worker applying gold dust. From the floor, it looks like solid gold. But get too close, and the dust gets in your eyes and blinds you. It's just a dusting.
Success looks solid from far away, but it doesn't actually fill you up.
Right, so if fear and desire are traps, how do we find a better motivation? He suggests the why ladder.
It's a simple but rigorous exercise.
So simple, you just state a want, and then you ask why repeatedly until you hit the emotional bedrock.
Okay, let's try it. I'm listening and I say, I want $1 million.
Okay, why do you want $1 million?
I can quit my job and take vacations.
Why do you want to take vacations?
Because I'm bored with my routine.
Why are you bored?
Because I want adventure. I want to see new things.
Boom! There it is. We went from money to adventure. And the kicker is, you realize the root intention is adventure. And you can find adventure now. You don't need $1 million for that.
The why ladder reveals that the feeling we're chasing is often available to us immediately.
Exactly. We delay happiness waiting for the result when the intention can be lived right now.
I love that. And to keep that intention front and center, he suggests changing our to-do lists.
Into to-be lists, yes. We're all obsessed with the to-do list.
So instead of just submit report,
add be disciplined. Instead of just date night, add be present and affectionate. It shifts the focus from the task to the character you are building.
which leads us perfectly to the final, and maybe the biggest topic, purpose, or dharma.
Dharma is a huge concept, but Shetty gives us a great equation for it. Passion plus expertise plus usefulness, dharma.
So what you love, what you're good at, and what serves the world.
And that last part, usefulness or service, is the key. You might love video games and be great at them, but if it isn't serving others, it's probably just a hobby.
Right.
He tells that story about the monk and the scorpion that just illustrates this perfectly.
The monk saves the drowning scorpion, gets stung, does it again, gets stung again.
And a bystander asks, why do you keep doing that? It's hurting you. And the monk says, it is the scorpion's nature to sting. It is my nature to save.
That is so profound. It's about staying true to your dharma even when the world punishes you for it.
It creates a kind of bulletproof integrity. You aren't reacting to the world, you are acting from your nature.
But there's a big misconception about this that he corrects. We all grew up hearing, you can be anything you want.
Yeah, Shetty kind of debunks that. He says you can't be anything you want, but you can be everything you are.
It sounds limiting at first, but it's actually liberating.
Incredibly liberating. It stops you from chasing paths that aren't yours. We want to be in that quadrant where we have both skill and passion. If you chase skill without passion, you'll be miserable.
But what if you're in a job you hate? You can't just quit.
And that's the beauty of it. You can bring your dharma to your current role. He gives the example of a hospital janitor.
Right. This story stuck with me.
This janitor didn't see her job as just emptying trash cans. She saw her dharma as healing patients by creating a sterile environment for them. She reinvented the role from the inside out.
It is better to do your own dharma imperfectly than to do someone else's perfectly.
Exactly. Whether you are a CEO or a barista, if you can align your daily actions with your nature and a spirit of service, you turn the mundane into the meaningful.
So, to recap, because we've covered a lot of ground here, we started with the dusty mirror wiping away external noise to see our values.
Then we looked at the cancers of the mind and the tool of spot, stop, swap.
We reframed fear as the necessary win for our roots and learned to detach like we're driving a rental car.
We climbed down the why ladder to find our true intentions.
And finally, we landed on dharma, using our passion and expertise to serve others. It's a journey from the outside in.
It really is.
There's one very practical takeaway we haven't touched on yet, which Shetty emphasizes throughout: the switch.
Breathwork, specifically pranayama. He calls it the switch because it physically moves your nervous system from fight or flight to rest and digest.
It's the hardware fix for a software problem.
It is. If you are spiraling, you can't just think your way out of it. You have to breathe your way out.
It's the only thing that stays with you from birth to death: your breath.
And mastering it is the first step of the monk mind. Before you try to fix anything else, fix your breathing.
Before we sign off, there's one final image from the book I want to leave everyone with. It's the musk deer.
Oh, this is a beautiful, tragic, and hopeful image all at once.
It is.
So the musk deer runs through the forest, chasing this irresistible scent. It spends its whole life searching for the source of this beautiful smell. It runs until it's exhausted, just desperate to find it.
But it never realizes the truth.
No, it never realizes that the scent is coming from its own pores. It carries the musk in its own navel.
We are the deer.
We are. We chase happiness in jobs, in relationships, in Amazon packages, thinking the scent is out there.
But the source has been inside us the whole time.
On that note, stop chasing, start looking in. Thanks for diving up with us.
It's been a pleasure. See you next time.